Good morning. Can you hear me loud and clear? Is that okay? Very good. Excellent. Welcome to our little session about external cyber threat intelligence. And I would like to introduce the Kela Group to you today. My name is Christian. I am a regional director at the Kela Group, and I'm responsible here for the territory. And I want to share a couple of things with you regarding threat exposure management, the three components of threat exposure management, and how we can help organizations to protect themselves against cyber threats from the outside, and how we can make your environment even more secure than it is already today. So, if you're talking about the Kela Group, we are talking about a company which is Israeli-based, and literally we have three different organizations. First of all, I will introduce the Kela company to you. We are doing cyber threat intelligence. Then a company called Sling, which is also under the Kela Group, which is doing third-party risk management. And last but not least, a company who's dealing with attack surface management, which is our UltraWeb group. We are in the business for 15 years. We are very innovative, sorry, German-English, struggling a little bit. So we have a lot of intelligence, and the intelligence is mainly based on the fact that we are an Israeli company, and all of our founders and research team has worked in military intelligence. So they have a reasonably good idea what they are doing, and they are subject matter experts of what they are doing. How can we help you to protect yourself against threats from the outside? Actually, the best way to do it is to use the same sources like an attacker would do, like a bad actor would do. So what is around, what is available in terms of information and sources around your company? And again, this can be against your own company, this can be against the third parties you are dealing with, and it can be your entire attack surface management, so the digital assets which are visible from the outside. Let's quickly dive into the first cyber threat intelligence piece. So what you can see on the left-hand side is we are monitoring as an organization a reasonable amount of sources from the dark web. So this can be illicit marketplaces, this can be Telegram channels, this can be Discord channels. We call it usually a cybercrime underground because a Telegram channel is not necessarily the dark web, but a lot of information are exchanged and traded in these forums and channels as well. And if you think of this entire ecosystem, it is an ecosystem very much depending on people buying and selling information. So it's like any other ecosystem. The flip side, it is a complete chaos, and it is really difficult to find the relevant information if you are not a subject matter expert. And this is where Kela comes into play, because what we are doing, we have created crawlers. So we are infiltrating all of these sources, we are exfiltrating the information, we are taking screenshots, we literally collect all of the information, harmonize the data, and put it into our data lake, which allows our customers to have actionable insights because they have really good idea of what's going on in the ecosystem. And you can then obviously do remediation, you can look into vulnerabilities, you can look into compromised accounts, and we are diving into this a little later and how it looks like in the cybercrime underground. As we are a very small audience, if you have any questions at any point in time, just raise your hand and we get it sorted straight away. So why is that important? We have seen over 4,600 ransomware events or extortion events in the last year, and 2,000 network accesses have been put on sold, so put into the ecosystem and have been offered for sale, which is posing the largest risk these days into corporate networks, because these are usually the root cause of ransomware events. So how does it look like in the dark web? So bad actors are actively promoting corporate networks which are up for sale. In this example, you can see it's a company out of Germany, 155 million in revenue. It's a domain user, so not a lot of privileges in this account. And the start price for an auction is $1,200 in order to purchase or to buy this access. It is an auction, so you can step up in $200 steps, and you can buy it for $2,000 straight away. Pretty much like eBay, if you want to buy it directly. People are not only offering accesses for sale, but they are actively looking for actors who have the ability to provide these type of accesses. So as you can see, it's an ecosystem. So it's buyers, it's sellers, there's demand and sorry, what is the English word for it? Supply and demand. That's what I was looking for. But we see different examples as well. So in the previous example, the account was for sale for $1,200. In this case, it's a US company, 10 billions in revenue, 150 terabytes of highly confidential data files, access to 60,000 PCs, and you can see the start price is $10,000. Step is $1,000, and you can buy this access for $100,000. So bad actors are very opportunistic. So they look into what type of accesses they can find, and depending on the valuation of the company and the potential amount they can extort from these companies, the prices vary. The benefit is that when the bad actors are giving us these type of details, our research team can then identify which potential customer or which potential company is exposed by this. And obviously, this gives you some visibility into what's happening from the outside and can help you to prevent these extortion events and ransomware events. Once the access is sold, this is the outcome. So someone has been extorted, so they have stolen data in the Medusa block. The ransomware group is offering another 8 days, 19 hours, in order to either delete the data or purchase the data, and the prices for this is $200,000. So you see, the prices are going up quite dramatically. So in these ransomware events, we are either showing extortion, like in this case, or we are doing victim shaming, where people basically say, you are a large organization, why don't you protect your organization in a proper manner? And obviously, data leaks is then what we are seeing quite often, where in this previous example, where you have 150 terabytes of confidential data, out of a sudden is published in the dark web, and we are seeing quite a lot of this in this case. And this can have really serious impacts for organizations. This is a German announcement, and it's very recent. It's not even 4 weeks ago. A company called Schumack AG, which is a German company based out of Aachen, so reasonably close to the Netherlands. They have been in the business for 194 years. And because they had some financial difficulties, they have been hit by a ransomware attack, and literally they didn't survive this as a company. So they had to claim insolvency. And this happens all over again. So companies have really difficulties, especially if it's smaller companies, to recover from ransomware attack. The average ransomware cost, or the average cost of a ransomware attack, is 4.8 million, according to the latest research. 4.8 million US dollars, I should say. So that is really significant. And again, we can help you to monitor and prevent from these events proactively. So if you're looking into a ransomware operation, how does it work usually? And again, some prizes for you to have some visibility. Initially, it starts with a very opportunistic approach. So people are putting out bank Trojans, they're doing spam, they are doing spear phishing, they are looking in RDP marketplaces, and they are getting accesses to networks, which are then sold for a very little price to initial access brokers. These initial access brokers then looking into the account, infiltrating the system, trying to sniff around and find what it might be of relevance. And obviously, then they try to expand the rights of this account. And then once this is done, they are selling the account, and we have seen some examples of this, depending on the valuation of the company, how valuable is for the bad actor, to ransomware affiliates and ransomware operators. And then it is going up the chain, and it can be up to 2 million in extortion amounts, or can get even higher. Any questions so far of what we are doing, what we are seeing, what we are observing? So one of the biggest risks these days is compromised accounts. So valid accounts into the network of a company. This is actually the #1 attack vector which we are currently seeing. Previously, we had brute force attacks against firewalls to try to find access. Right now, it is a lot more around, I have an access, I escalate privileges, I can get into the Active Directory, I can do lateral movement, and then I can literally do the extortion or do double extortion. Why is it so dangerous? It is so dangerous because if you talk about a valid account, it takes on average 292 days in order to be detected from the security organization. So 292 days on average where a bad actor is in your network and you don't have an idea about what he's doing, which files they are looking at, which privileges they are escalating. That is a real big risk. And we have seen an increase of valid accounts or attacks with valid accounts of 71% year over year. And the use of info-stealer malware, which is the root cause of all of this, has increased year over year by 266%. So this is really significant. And the way threat intelligence is helping you with this, we have modules which can help you to operationalize the monitoring of your digital assets, of your domains, and of corporate networks, which allows you then to do or to be very proactive if it comes to prevention of cyber threats, because it gives you visibility which you potentially don't have before. So that is the one part of the threefold threat exposure management. So looking into your own organization, having an idea what your own organization is exposed to, but we are not stopping there. The second part of this is what we can monitor for your own organization, we can monitor for your supply chain as well. If you think of the NIS2 initiative these days, to be compliant, you have to have an idea what's going on in your supply chain, what potential risk is coming from your supply chain. And this is where Sling is coming into play, so the sister company of Kela. So if you think of this being you in a very interconnected world, you have access to human resources, you have access to accounting firms, telecommunication. So you have a whole amount of critical vendors which might have access to your system or are responsible for business continuity on your side. And what we have done previously for your own organization, we can literally do for your entire supply chain. So we can help you to monitor what's going on in your supply chain, what potential risk is coming from my supply chain, because what we're seeing more and more often is that companies are not being attacked because they are usually quite well protected against themselves, but they are looking into the entire ecosystem of the supply chain, and they are looking for the weakest links in the supply chain in order to get to the main target. And again, we are seeing this more and more often. So this overall allows you to be compliant with the different compliance frameworks. So we have DORA for the financial sector in the European Union. We have HIPAA for medical or for healthcare organizations in the US. We have the SEC regulation. We have the NIST compliance. And then most important for the European companies is the new NIS2 initiative. And with this, you see a lot of things which we can help you. So you can do a risk assessment. You can define your most critical vendors. You can do vulnerability management and allow you to get an understanding what potential risk is coming from my supply chain in order to do proper risk management. I was on a conference last week and I talked to financial to a CISO of a financial organization, and he said, I literally have to report on a weekly basis the potential cyber risk to my board in order to make sure that we have everything set up properly and that my board has got an idea what is the risk of us being attacked by cyber attack. And having a visibility into your supply chain in the same way you have visibility into your own organization, from what can people see from outside. So you're all very well protected, I'm pretty sure, from the inner perimeters. You have firewalls, you have endpoint protection, but it's the outside view which is important, which is missing in a lot of cases. Last but not least, ultra-red, threat exposure management. So what we are doing in this case is we are looking into the external attack surface management. So first of all, we are doing asset discovery. So literally, we are looking at all the elements which are exposed to the internet, and we automatically uncovers unknown hosts. This can be domains, this can be IP addresses, which are under your organization scope, which you are potentially not aware of. So automatically discovery and detection of your assets. We do asset management. So we are looking into organization your assets once we have identified into specific categories. This can include outdated technologies, this can include misconfiguration, compromised accounts. So everything what you can see from outside, we do in this asset management. We are looking into vulnerabilities. So we are scanning for vulnerabilities to make you aware of it, and which can reach or which can lead possibly into attacks, which continues then to monitor your organization and concentrate what is really of relevance to you. We do validation. So we are trying to exclude the false positives so that you have manageable intelligence. Because obviously we want to make sure that you get as little noise as possible and really just focus on the things and elements which are really important for your organization in order to make sure you do proper remediation, and we are providing you all of these details. So overall, we are looking in 3 elements. Your own organization, so what type of information is available from the outside, which attackers can take a look at. We are doing the same thing for third-party risk management to give you visibility of what's happening in your organization. And then we do attack surface management to uncover which digital assets are out there which are reachable from the outside, which can be exposed by a bad actor, which allows you then to have an overall protection umbrella from the external threats. So again, we are talking about killer threat intelligence, attack surface analysis, and vulnerability management. We are talking about SLING, which is third-party risk management, and we are talking about ultra-red, which is automated discovery, asset management, vulnerability scanning, and collaborative remediation. Do you have? This is simply another slide on with all the acronyms which we are doing, and this has been identified as Gartner to be very important as well. So they are looking into the entire threat exposure management story. Sorry, I was a little too fast with the clicker. If you're interested to learn more about it, please feel free to do the scan of our little icon here on the right-hand side, and thank you. I'm around in a little booth there if you want to look into your own organization, if you want to understand how your supply chain is looking like and what data we can potentially see, feel free to come and see me. And with this, I want to thank you for your participation. Thank you very much.